Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm JT. If you're new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button before the end of the video. And in this video, we're gonna be talking about the Canon EOS R6, brand new, hasn't even been released yet. And we're gonna do a little compare and review with the Nikon Z6. At first glance, they're pretty similar cameras. So let's take a look at the pros and cons and the specs and see what we come up with. Let's get right into it. It seems that photography social media is on fire right now. Everybody is complaining, so that means a new camera just got released, and that is the Canon EOS R6. Now, if you guys remember, about a year and a half ago, I gave a pretty scathing review of the Canon EOS R, which stood for revolutionary.
And over the past 10 years, I've just been continuously let down by Canon and Canon's new releases. And right now, it doesn't look like the Canon R mirrorless is going to be any different.
And at the time, it really wasn't revolutionary, and I definitely had some pretty harsh words for Canon. So what we're going to do in this video is break down the R6 specs and the Z6 specs, put them head to head in a mirrorless camera comparison, and kind of take a look at the pros and cons of each and see what each camera has to offer. For starters, let's talk about the Z6. The first thing I want to remind you guys about is the Z6 was released in November of 2018. So it's about a year and a half, almost 2 years old, and the R6, which we're comparing it to, isn't even going to be released for like another 2 months. So just kind of keep that in mind with this comparison. I'll talk more about that at the end of the video, and I'll give you kind of my final thoughts at the end of the video, so stick around for that. But as I've said before, and you guys probably know this if you watch this channel often, the Z6 is one of my favorite run and gun camera bodies. It just seems to do it all when it comes to photo and video. And you can pick up the Z6 right now for about $1,800 with the FTZ adapter. I will have affiliate links down below in the description if you're interested in picking up your own Z6. But let's dive a little bit deeper into Z6 specs. So the Nikon actually comes out on top in the first comparison, where it has a 25.25 megapixel sensor, and the EOS R6 only has a 21.5 megapixel sensor. When we take a look at ISOs, they're pretty similar. Both have pretty low-end ISOs. I know the Z6 is expandable down to 50, which is a huge lifesaver, and they both relatively go up to like 104,000 ISO, which is ridiculous. And again, they have expandable values on top of that. I know the Z6 will go to 51,000 ISO, which I will never shoot at. There's really no reason to ever shoot at these ridiculous ISOs, but just know that those ISO options are out there. I'm not sure if you're going to be using a match to light up a cornfield, but those are your options, and they are pretty comparable and pretty similar with both the Z6 and the R6. Both of them also have sensor stabilization. Everyone right now is bragging about the R6 sensor stabilization. We really haven't seen a head-to-head comparison yet, so I don't think there's going to be much to say about that yet. And they both shoot 14-bit raw images. So far, they're pretty much head-and-head for two very similar camera bodies. Let's take a minute to talk a little bit about autofocus, because that's always a huge contention when there's a new camera release. Everyone is always comparing autofocus. Does it have eye autofocus, face autofocus, dog autofocus, things like that? Does it track all those good things? And I really don't care about autofocus. I think you can pick up a camera, almost any camera brand today, any model, and it's going to have pretty decent autofocus, especially compared to years back. Every camera out there is pretty awesome, and you almost can't go wrong. That being said, the Nikon Z6 has 273 autofocus points, and the Canon has a little bit over 1,000. I don't know about you, but when I'm sitting there with my little thumb dial, it's a lot easier to get from the left-hand side of the screen to the right-hand side of the screen with 200 clicks versus 1,000 clicks. So when it comes to autofocus points, the more you have, not necessarily always better. It's a bigger number, bigger marketing gimmick, but with 273 autofocus points, I am just fine with that. But again, the R6 does come out on top with autofocus. Next, let's talk about continuous shooting in your photo mode. Both the Z6 and the R6 have 12 frames per second when it comes to shooting raw photos. Now, the R6 does have a little bit of an advantage. If you turn off the mechanical shutter and are just using your electronic shutter, or a silent shooting mode as it's called in the Nikon series of cameras, you do get to go up to 20 frames per second. Now that is super helpful when it comes to shooting sports. And I may not have mentioned this before, but one of the things or cons of the Nikon Z6 is it's not that great at shooting sports. It does have a really bad rolling shutter, and when you're shooting those higher frame rates, like 12 frames per second, and you're doing what I call spraying and praying, where you're just holding the shutter button down and following the action, hoping to get a shot, you're really getting a distorted or skewed shot just based on the way that the camera is reading the camera sensor, either from top to bottom or bottom to top. So as your person is running, it looks like they're leaning one way or the other. For example, if you were shooting football and you have your guy running down the field, it might look like he's skewed one way or the other just because your camera is not reading the sensor fast enough. So that is kind of a downfall of the Nikon Z6, even though it's a fantastic camera. We're really gonna have to wait and see what the R6 has in store for us when it comes to shooting sports and other high-end, fast-paced, kind of run and gun photography like I like to do. So let's talk about recording modes. 4K 60. It also shoots 1080 120, but that's kind of one of the things missing with the Z6. The Z6 also shoots 1080 120, but only goes up to 4K 30. Now, there is a Nikon rumor of a Nikon Z6 Gen 2, which will have some upgrades, and one of those rumors is that the upgrade will be 4K 60. And if you've watched my GH5 versus Nikon Z6 comparison, that's one of the things that, again, the GH5 has above the Nikon Z6 is that 4K 60. Really super helpful, especially when you need just that little bit of crispy, cinematic slow-mo. The R6 is also sporting that new H.265 codec, which if you've ever edited is extremely clunky and slow to edit. Whether you're in Premiere or Final Cut, so you're probably going to have to use a ProRes proxy, just adding one more step. Now, one last specification to compare before we get into my thoughts: memory card slots. Now, I remember when the Z6 and the Z7 came out, everybody was losing their minds and their hair was on fire because it had one XQD slot. Now, again, I've shot on the Z7. I did a lot of portraits and a lot of street photography with it. I've shot extensively on the Z6. I've done weddings on the Z6. I've done action on the Z6. I've gotten it dirty. I've done street photography in NYC. I've done so much with it, and I haven't had a single problem with the single XQD slot. So to me, that personally isn't a problem, but many of you will be happy to know you will have 2 whole SD card slots. So win for the R6 when it comes to that. And again, just a rumor, but if the Nikon Z6 Generation 2 is released, it is rumored to have 2 XQD slots, and that with that 4K 60 would be an awesome camera. But again, when it comes to card slots, R6 is the winner. Now, one more thing I do want to add, and I almost forgot about it. A lot of people these days shoot with their LCD viewfinder and look through that and their monitor on the back. A lot of people aren't putting their camera up to their eye anymore. So I think it would be important to state that the Z6 only has a tilting LCD screen, where the R6 is going to have a fully articulating, swinging LCD that'll help you with your vlogging, or in this case, recording myself, and I have an external monitor up here that I'm looking at, making sure I'm in focus and everything like that. So the Z6 does have a slightly bigger, I think about a 1/2 to 1/4 inch bigger LCD on the back, so some more pixels, but again, the R6 does have that advantage of having the fully swiveling, tilting, articulating monitor for those really fun Hail Mary shots and for you vloggers out there. So let's talk about my thoughts, because after all, that's why you came here, is to ask my thoughts on the Z6 and the R6. So let's talk about the Z6 first. As I said in the beginning of the video, I absolutely love the Z6. It's almost the perfect camera. It is so close to being the perfect camera. One of the things it is missing as we just mentioned, is that articulating LCD screen. That means I can't vlog with it. I'm again stuck using my external monitor to view myself. It's also missing that 4K 60, one of the reasons that I still keep my GH5 around, and I love shooting that slow-mo 4K 60. And next, you'll remember that the Z6 only has that one XQD card slot, which a lot of people get heartburn over, but I just want to tell you guys out there that I've shot plenty of weddings, I've shot military action, street photography, all the above. I've never had an XQD card go corrupt, have any sort of read-write issues, and I use some pretty great Sony XQD cards. And I will link the XQD cards that I use personally down below in the description so you can pick a couple up for yourself. We also mentioned a little bit that the Z6 probably isn't the best camera for shooting sports. If I had to shoot sports such as football like I've done with the Z6, I'd probably go for more of a D850 or a D5, but then you're also going up a ridiculous amount in cost. So for what it is, the Z6 is a fantastic run and gun camera. And again, that's what I am all about. Takes fantastic video, fantastic portraits, and is fantastic in low light. The low light capabilities are awesome. If you remember my test with the GH5, it absolutely blew the GH5 out of the water when it came to low light video and low light photo. It just has a great sensor for sucking in all of the light. So all in all, Z6, fantastic run and gun camera. Again, it's 2 years old. I really don't think you can go wrong with it. And again, don't forget about that rumor that the Z6 Gen 2 might be on the horizon, maybe around October, November-ish. We'll see in a couple months. But for now, let's move on to my final thoughts about the Canon R6. So the Canon R6 will run you about $2,500 to $2,600 is the speculated price right now. Again, it's not released. It's coming out at the end of August. And again, remember when comparing to the Z6, it's going to be released in 2 months. And by then the Z6 will be almost 2 years old. So you are comparing kind of apples and oranges, and the R6 is going to be about $1,000 more than the Nikon Z6. So for that extra $1,000, let's talk about some of the pros of the R6. We don't know how it compares in low light, if the low light's good, if the low light's bad. Remember, resolution is just a number. You can have a 4K camera that shoots really crappy video, and you can have a 4K camera same resolution that shoots really good video. So we're gonna have to see in the coming weeks and months how well the R6 performs in low light. So Canon, if you wanna send me an R6 to really push it to its limits in military photography and low light, I'm your guy. DM me. So remember that the R6 does have those 2 SD card slots, probably one card for video, one card for photo, or you have that option most likely of backing one card up just in case one goes corrupt. You'll always have that extra backup. Now, the R6 really hasn't been tested when it comes to super fast-paced action yet, so we're really gonna have to see how it compares to the Z6 when it comes to things like sports. Again, hint Canon, if you wanna send me one for some military action, I'm down to shoot. So I'll finish up my thoughts by talking about the 2 negative things that I don't really like about the R6, and that is obviously the overheating that nobody is happy about, and the 21.5 megapixel photographs. Now, let's talk about that overheating. You have to remember all of that light and data that's being sucked into your sensor, processed by your sensor, and is being shot to your memory card. Yes, your camera is going to heat up, especially in warmer conditions. When you talk about cameras on set like a Red, if I'm talking about shooting 5K on my Red Epic X, the Red overheats before I even start shooting. It has multiple fans, multiple things going on, and that 20-minute time limit. DSLRs and mirrorless only have a 30-minute record limit anyway, so if you've ever been on a movie set or know what it's like to work with big productions, you're probably never going to have a 20-minute single take anyway, so that's not really something I'd be too worried about. Now, one of the things that is a real negative about the R6 that I can't look past is that 21.5 megapixel photograph resolution. Remember, that's the same size as a 5D Mark II, which I have here in the closet, from 2008-2009, that is 11 or 12 years old. So a little side story, I was up in the Rocky Mountains a couple weekends ago shooting some landscape photography with Lewis Carlisle, an awesome landscape photographer, And he brought his 5D Mark IV, I brought my Nikon Z6, and he also brought his 5DR, which shoots 45 megapixels. And we were kind of talking a little bit about the prospect of the R6 and the R5, and we were both a little bit let down that, again, it only shoots 21 megapixels or 21 and a half megapixels, and that's a massive downgrade from 45 when it comes to landscape photography. So just something to think about. So to summarize and wrap up my thoughts in this video, I think both the Z6 and the R6 and the R5 for that matter are fantastic cameras. I don't think you can really go wrong with either one. Some have their pros, some have their cons. That's for you as a shooter to weigh out yourself. Now, a little bit of a side note again, I keep thinking back to that scathing, horrible review I gave of the Canon EOS R, and that's probably because what I expected from Canon was the R6. And again, that was 2 years ago. Canon is coming out with this amazing camera, but is it almost 2 years too late? That is for you guys to decide. So let me know down below in the comments what you think. Is Canon really packing the punch with the R6, or are we comparing apples to oranges and its best competitor is almost 2 years old already? So that is all for the video. Thank you so much for joining me this weekend. So if you enjoyed this video, remember to give it that thumbs up, share it with a friend that's thinking about buying a new camera, and in the description down below, I will have links to the R5, the R6, and the Z6, and their affiliate links. So I get a penny or two if you buy a new camera, which helps keep this content coming to you guys because you are awesome. So again, that is all. I will see you guys next weekend. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more run and gun videos, and get out and go shoot.